Good morning, everybody. Mike Roybal here with IT Colorado. I apologize for getting this little AI policy briefing started late, but better late than never. Today, I want to talk about something that's already going on inside of your business. And whether you realize it or not, there are AI tools that are being used internally. So we're not debating on whether AI is good or whether it's bad. The fact is that it's here, and your team is probably using it right now. Might be ChatGPT, maybe it's Microsoft Copilot, maybe it's something that's baked right into your accounting or your manufacturing software, and you might not even realize which platforms your team is integrated with or how often that they rely on them to speed up their tasks. And that's part of the problem. AI adoption is often invisible. It doesn't necessarily go through IT. It doesn't get a policy review. It just shows up on somebody's screen. It saves them 10 minutes of time, and it becomes part of the daily workflow before anyone at the top even knows that it exists. Which is exactly why your business needs an AI usage policy or an AI policy. So whether you're a CPA that's reviewing sensitive tax returns, a bookkeeper that's automating client communications, maybe you're a manufacturer that's managing proprietary processes, this technology is changing how work happens. And without some clear boundaries, it's also changing in the way that it puts your data, your compliance, and your reputation at risk. We're going to talk about why AI policies matter. AI is sneaky. It doesn't arrive with a red flag. It shows up through some really helpful automations, through chatbots, through some content suggestions, maybe some clever shortcuts to get a job done. And it's often adopted by your team in small, pretty seemingly harmless ways, like generating a customer email or analyzing a spreadsheet or planning a marketing calendar. And that convenience is very powerful. It also feels very efficient. It feels modern, but it also creates a blind spot. While your team might see an AI tool as just another assistant, what they're really doing is that they're exposing sensitive data to a third-party platform, trusting that its output is correct and making business decisions that are based on software that doesn't understand your risk, your industry, or your obligations. For CPAs and bookkeepers, this means, client PII or tax return or tax records could be copied into a tool that permanently retains them. For manufacturers, it means maybe equipment specs or proprietary processes could be exposed through AI-assisted technical documentation. And all of it can happen outside of your security stack, without logging and without oversight. This isn't just about bad intentions. It's also about good people using powerful tools without clear rules. Imagine that a junior staffer copies a client's tax summary into ChatGPT to simplify it for a presentation. That client's private financials are now floating in an unknown AI model with no deletion policy and no traceable audit trail. Or think about a manufacturer that's using an AI tool to write an equipment manual. It sounds accurate, but it recommends a process that violates OSHA regulations. Now you've got some legal liability, some safety risk, and no one to blame but a faceless algorithm. These aren't just some edge cases, they're already happening. Some of the things that we've seen are AI-generated financial summaries with critical numerical errors, teams that are unknowingly pasting client data into third-party tools, HR departments that are using AI to draft job descriptions that violate compliance laws. There are also some more subtle dangers. AI tools can reflect or amplify bias. They can rely on outdated information. They can be manipulated through some type of malicious input. And here's the kicker, because the AI presents output so confidently, most people don't question them. So when there's no AI policy, you leave the door open to leaked client or proprietary data, to financial misstatements that are generated, to regulatory or legal exposure from bad output, to some internal confusion about who's responsible, to the erosion of client trust and brand credibility. So even if the risk feels low, the consequences are high and they're often irreversible. Here's the piece that most businesses forget. AI introduces entirely new risks. Excuse me. Let's say that someone uploads sensitive data into an AI tool. That data might now be stored, accessed, or even learned from by the model behind the scenes. So you can't unring that bell. And attackers know it. They're exploiting these tools with techniques like prompt injection, tricking the AI into leaking information or taking unintended actions. Or shadow AI, employees using unsanctioned tools outside of IT oversight. There's also API abuse, some unsecured AI integrations that create new access points for attackers. Plus, many of these tools, they're connected to cloud services that fall outside of your existing endpoint or network protections, and they introduce new layers of complexity and also some new targets. You've probably already locked down things like phishing and ransomware, but if you're not including AI-related vulnerabilities in your cybersecurity risk assessments, you're missing some very critical exposure. So the assessment should now ask, what AI tools are being used? What data are they accessing? Are they integrated with internal systems? Who's responsible for monitoring their behavior? And do we have visibility into prompt histories and data exchanges? So this isn't just a checklist item, it's really a strategic pivot in how your cybersecurity framework needs to operate. A clear AI policy doesn't need to be long, but it must be thoughtful and it must be comprehensive. It starts with identifying the specific tools that are allowed within your business. What platforms are trusted, what functions are permitted, and under what conditions they can be used. This alone helps close the gap between harmless experimentation and unmanaged risk. Next, it needs to outline how data should be handled within those tools. Any use of sensitive information, whether it's client financials, proprietary product specs, or personally identifiable details, should be either explicitly prohibited or tightly controlled with proper logging and approval mechanisms in place. Your policy should also draw a firm line between internal brainstorming and external communication. AI is really good at assisting with drafts or summaries, but nothing client-facing should leave the building without human review and human sign-off. A good AI policy also names names. Who's accountable when something goes wrong? Who reviews the tools and updates the policy? Who is monitoring the use across different departments? So clarity and ownership prevents issues from falling through the cracks. Training is another essential piece. So if your team doesn't understand how these tools work or what the risks are, they won't follow the rules. Ongoing education needs to be baked into your policy, just like cybersecurity awareness is. And finally, your policy should not be static. It should include a schedule for regular reviews, ideally aligned with your cybersecurity assessment. AI is evolving really fast, and your protections, they also need to evolve faster. So as you build or revise your policy, watch out for these common mistakes. Being too vague. Use AI responsibly is not a policy, so define some clear boundaries. Being too rigid. Banning AI outright drives usage underground. Focus on guidance and not on restriction. Having no enforcement. A policy no one reads or follows might as well not exist. Having no owner. Assign someone to maintain and evolve these policies, whether it's IT, whether it's compliance, or whether it's your operations department. And here's another one that we see: failure to adapt. AI changes fast. So what was safe 6 months ago, it might not be safe today. Your policy must evolve with the tools. That means scheduling reviews and feedback, looping in with your team, and coordinating with your cybersecurity strategy. Also, an outdated policy is a vulnerable policy. So you're going to want to avoid assuming that all tools are equal. Some do have some very strong governance models. Others are a black box. So know what you're working with all the time. Also, don't ignore any industry-specific risks. CPAs have confidentiality rules. Manufacturers deal with intellectual property, and your policy must reflect your regulatory and your operational environment. Also, don't skip any incident response planning. If AI causes a breach or an error, what is your plan? Who's involved? And what is the process to remediate it? Every policy has gaps, and the goal isn't perfection, it's visibility. It also has ownership and accountability. So we do help small and mid-sized businesses, especially CPAs, bookkeepers, and manufacturers, navigate these exact issues. So from creating AI usage policies to updating your cybersecurity posture, we make sure that you're protected and that you're compliant. We help uncover where AI is already embedded in your systems, where it's being used without oversight, and what that means for your risk exposure. Then we help you fix it with practical business specific policies and updated cybersecurity controls. All of these reflect the new reality that your business is operating in. So if you're ready to get ahead of the risks and start setting some clear rules around AI, book a call with us. Go to itcolorado.com/book a call. You don't need to be an AI expert. You just need to partner with someone who understands how to keep your data safe while your team stays productive. Put a plan in place before it's too late. I want to thank you today for spending 10, 15 minutes with me talking a little bit about AI. We're here to help keep you safe, help you stay aware, help you stay secure. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you.